welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to turn Frankie into a fresh watermelon girl. I like starting with the clothes. I drew the pattern on a white piece of fabric. As I didn't have the print that I wanted, I decided to paint it. I mixed acrylic paints with a drop of Mod Podge. This is to give the paint a little bit more of flexibility. And I started to paint the slices of watermelon. First, the red juicy parts. I left a rectangle of the fabric white. And then the green parts. Now it's starting to look like watermelon. And finally, the black seeds. When the paint was completely dry, I could start cutting and working on it. I took the rectangle that I left white and hemmed the top. Then I drew a straight line right in the middle of it. I made a running stitch following that line. And gathered everything to make wrinkles. I sewed this wrinkled piece of fabric to the sides of the front part. To have this. I also sewed the neckline for a clean look. And attached the back part by the shoulders. Now fold it good side to good side and sew the sides. Side, side, side. Also sew the edges for an armhole sleeve. I sewed some velcro on the back and we have the top part. The skirt is pretty easy. I hemmed the bottom edge of this rectangle of fabric, and on the top I made a running stitch. And gathering it, I got this perfect skirt shape. Now I only had to sew together the top and bottom. And sew the skirt closed. Dress done! To make an underskirt, I sewed a couple of narrow rectangles of fabric slightly gathered on top of a wider one. Then I made exactly the same that I made with the skirt of the dress. For the waist, I attach a small rectangle of fabric on top of it. Then I closed it. I needed some bows. I cut some small rectangles of fabric and painted them with watermelon colors. Don't forget the seeds. For the shoes, I'm just going to modify a little bit some monster high shoes. With my X-Acto knife, I cut the drops that didn't fit with the concept. I made a running stitch right in the middle of the smallest watermelon rectangle. And I looped the thread around the center a couple of times. I glued the bow on the side of the shoe. I also tied it with the thread for more strength. And glued 3 black rhinestones on the center. And more rhinestones on the front of the shoes. As the shoes are red, these black rhinestones give the illusion of more watermelon seeds. With some cardstock, I cut these shapes and I glued them on some scrap fabric. I cut everything, but I left some seam allowance on the strip and I made a lot of small slits. To form the bag, I glued this on the biggest piece of cardstock. And when we have it, we also glued the other piece. You'll understand it better when you see it. To be able to open and close the bag, I glued a couple of strips of fabric, one of them with 2 jump rings. I covered the whole bag with twine. Before gluing the twine on the centerpiece, I made 2 holes. This is to attach the strap later. I cut all the edges. To make the strap, I loosely tied 3 pieces of twine and made a tight braid. To be honest, if I have to repeat this bag again, I'm not going to do the strap the same way. In the end, I didn't really know how to attach it to the rest of the bag. And I improvised a little bit with more pieces of twine, some jump rings, some knots, and but I loved the end result. Let's work on the doll now. First, I cut all the hair as close to the scalp as possible. And I sank her head on a cup of very hot water. And when the vinyls got soft, I could remove the head. This time it didn't come off so easily, but pulling carefully while holding the neck, I could do it. With a screwdriver, I scraped the inside of the head and removed the rest of the hair with pliers. With a cotton ball soaked in pure acetone, I remove all the factory paint. The body also requires some work. I shortened the neck peg because, yes, And carefully, using my X-Acto knife, I remove the bolts from the neck. And I clean all the stitches from the body. I used acetone-free nail polish remover. It's very important to use acetone-free because the acetone can melt the plastic so easily. To remove the shiny layer from the plastic, I buffed it with a nail buffer. And I cleaned all the dust with rubbing alcohol. I sprayed head and body with Mr. Super Clear Sealant, and I started with the skin color change. I used my PanPastels and Mr. Super Clear. Layering a coat of pastels, a coat of MSC, a coat of pastel, a coat of MSC until you're satisfied with the change. I also shaded head and body. Before starting with the face up, I reattached everything. I began with some blushing on the cheeks, forehead, nose and chin. And I started drawing. First, I traced the basic shape of the eyes. And the center of the mouth with the darkest shade of the color I chose. And the rest of the lips with the lightest. Then the eyebrows. Here, symmetry is really important, and turning the doll upside down helps you achieve that symmetry. I want her to have a dreamy expression. So I made her looking to the left. The white pencil wanted to cooperate. Great! Pink for the tear duct. And the first layer is complete. The rest are just for saturating the colors and darkening them and adding some details. I wanted to add a little bit of brown to the irises, and I tried to slightly blend it with the blue. As she's going to be blonde, I drew some lighter hairs on the eyebrows. Do you like summer? To be honest, I hate it. But I love summer food. Ice creams and salads and gazpacho and watermelon. That's why I decided to make a watermelon doll, because it's summer related and I don't hate it. With my pastel pencil, I made some highlights. I blended the pastel with my cotton glove. I forgot to paint the eyelid before. Oops, I can do it now. And the eyeliner. Lower lashes are always a problem for me, but I really try. It's interesting that the top lashes are quite easier for me. And the pupils. I've never done this before, but I've seen some other great doll artists make it with wonderful results. So I gave her some white lashes. Finally, the eye shines. Face up done. For the hair, I prepared some acrylic yarn webs as I always do. Tying them, brushing them, ironing them, cutting them, gluing them, peeling them, and cutting the ugly excess. I glued the hair directly on the door. But first I glued some spare hairs as baby hair. I glued the thickest weft on the front. And I covered the whole head with the rest of the webs. Once the glue is completely dry, I can start styling it. I'm making a half ponytail. And I cut all the excess. Remember that square of fabric I made for a bow? I attached it to the head with a pin. And in the center, I glued some black rhinestones. And with this, our doll is complete. What do you think about her? I wanted her to look very fresh and summery. I hope I've achieved it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you again very soon. Bye!